Thank you, Mr. Kali, for your talk. I think the coach will be setting up my presentation, and while that's happening, welcome to Budapest. Welcome to you online, also joining us, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome you here in person to this final meeting. It's been 5 years of RadoNorm, surprisingly, and it's amazing how time has gone by this fast in the last 5 years, and how much we've been able to achieve, as Mrs. Pogany said, even with lockdowns in our first year, with experiments being postponed, and everything been happening, and still, thank you so much. Despite all of these challenges, we have made it this far. So my talk is just going to be a quick summary of what we have been doing in the last year and in the last 5 years a bit. And I titled it A Review of RadoNorm's Success, just to highlight how successful we have actually been. And to also just encourage you today to really give yourselves a pat on the back, because we've not just achieved our goals, we've even surpassed them in some ways. And so congratulations to you, and I hope this trip down memory lane will be useful to you today. So here are some numbers to start off with, what I've been presenting over the last few annual meetings. Currently, we stand at 58 submitted deliverables, 87 milestones, 3 periodic reports, and 1 very successful project review. As you can see, for our deliverables, we still have a ways to go. This is part of the plan, don't worry. As there are still a lot that are yet to be submitted in the next few months, please make sure they come on time. So 2 weeks to me, so that I and Mandy also have a chance to review them before we submit it. In terms of what we've been up to in the last year, so we actually kicked off fall 2024 with a very good 2 sessions at the Radiation Protection Week conference. Here we had 2 sessions on radon and norm research. So RadoNorm was very prominently present at this conference, and our results were very well received by the international community. And I'm also happy to announce that in the next Radiation Protection Week conference, there is a plenary session dedicated particularly to RadoNorm results. So look forward to more information on that in the next few months. The work package leaders, together with some members of the consortium, also met together to have a workshop in January, where we had to summarize what we have done so far, just to take a look at all our results together, and then also look at what sort of open questions now are there, and what research for radon and norm would look like in the future. And so we came together to discuss future research priorities for radon and norm research, and what we did here was we formulated all of these open questions into 2 main challenges, 1 challenge for radon research and 1 challenge for norm research, and I will come to this later in a bit. But we actually sent these challenges now to the radiation protection platforms, specifically to Eurodose, Share, Melody, and Alliance, so that they can also incorporate these challenges into their strategic research agendas. And we were very happy to discuss all of this with them in the RadoNorm Showcase meeting. This was probably our most significant event in the last year. This happened in Brussels, where we invited members of the European Commission, so more than anything, DG Energy and DG RTD, together with international organizations in radiation protection. So we had the ICRP, the WHO, and so on joining us, and we discussed our results with them. So we actually started where we had, very fortunately, a member of EU Parliament with us from Slovenia, who presented the issues that they face with addressing radon in some of their communities. We presented our results. We packed all of them into a nice, cozy 40-minute presentation, so you can imagine how easy that was. And then the crux of our meeting were 3 panel discussions on the topics of health, effects and risks, exposure and mitigation, and societal aspects. And here we entered into discussions with these organizations to see what results resonate with them, how they can implement these into their programs, and so on. And so a lot of the notable results that were discussed here were the influence of smoking on radon risks, diagnosis for radon-induced lung cancer, the radiological models, the registers for norm sites, our citizen science projects, and then the Commission was also especially interested with balancing building energy efficiency and radon mitigation, and then also tailored risk communication, since we had to conclude that not one size fits all for when it comes to risk communication. We presented our research priorities, the questions that we had, and they gave us also their feedback. And so a lot of the content of what was presented is now in the June newsletter, and this has been recently published. So you can feel free to read that, but we also plan to officially make this available, on the one hand through a deliverable, on the other hand through a publication, a white paper that will be coming out hopefully in the next few months. Exactly, so these are the challenges. I'm not going to read it out to you, but as you can see, the list is very comprehensive for radon research and for norm research, and this is what we presented. You will be able to see these slides later on after we share them with you as well. Moving on to education and training activities, we managed to close our 18th and final call for travel grants, and we have managed to fund 132 travel grants, and now also more recently the research stay grants, which enabled our early career scientists to conduct more long stay research, exchange stays for up to a few months even at different institutions, and they were very happy to receive them, as we were discussing at our table yesterday. We also had a number of training courses that we organized over the last 5 years, so 25 in total, engaging hundreds of participants. These are some of the pictures from the more recent training courses over the last year. And we're also very happy to say that our Early Career Research Council managed to organize one training course each year, so they were very engaged. This year they had a course on AI in science, and I think Francesca and Kim will be talking more about that in their presentation tomorrow. We also had a significant number of PhD defenses, so our PhD students have submitted their theses. These are just some pictures from the more recent defenses, but a big congratulations to all of them. I think we can give them a round of applause as well. And I think I speak for the whole consortium when I say that without them, we would not make it to where we are today. They have been the driving force, the main researchers in what we've been doing, and we are very grateful to them for their efforts. Speaking of the Early Career Researcher Council, as I mentioned, they have been very active, and now they would also, some of the members of the council have also formed a new initiative called EC-RAD, which is more an umbrella platform for global initiatives for early career researchers, where they bring together different initiatives from other platforms, organizations, and they're able to sustainably continue their efforts under Pianoforte, which is really good. We will also be publishing a paper soon on addressing the needs of early career research in radiation protection, so this is something that you can look forward to in the next few months. I think we will be talking more about the EC-RAD community in tomorrow's session as well. Speaking of publications, we are at 68 and counting. I know that quite a few of you have submitted manuscripts and will be coming out hopefully in the next few months. And this is also, before I announce that, we also are happy to announce a special issue, or rather an e-collection in radiation and environmental biophysics for RadoNorm research papers. So this is part of the Springer Nature publisher, and submission to the e-collection is open-ended, so there is no specific deadline. When we realize that there are no more publication manuscripts coming in, then we will close off the submission. But we also highly encourage you to check this out when you are preparing your manuscripts as well. I took these slides from Paul's presentation yesterday because we had an interesting discussion during our ethics meeting. on the topic of open data. And Paul did a little audit where he chose 50 papers, 50 RadoNorm publications. I think he took out 11 of them, which were review papers, but he was looking for the statements of data sharing, where the data is available, where it's available, and so on. And here, I think there is a lot of room for improvement as far as he has concluded, because while a lot of papers do have a data availability statement, the data is not so easy to be found. And we would also like to remind you that we are contractually obligated to the Commission to make sure our data is available and ready, findable, accessible, interoperable, and retrievable. So we ask you to please make sure your data is available when you are submitting your manuscripts. And that's why the STOW database is there for. This is part of our data management plan. So please ensure that your data is accessible to everyone. This is also just a general overview slide that we presented in Brussels at the showcase meeting. So we have a number of publications, citations, and also we are grateful that our research is open access, and we also have a lot of new technologies and methodologies that have been developed. Like Mrs. Paolini said, we've not just been addressing radiation protection, but contributing to a wide variety of EU policies. We've been very heavily engaged in outreach activities, reaching hundreds of citizens through citizen science projects. Also training a new generation of young scientists, so we funded 25 PhD projects through RadoNorm. Training courses, developing curricula and educational resources, and then, of course, contributing to society as a whole through partnerships with industry, SMEs, and public sector organizations. So we've been, heavily involved with knowledge transfer activities. And before I end my presentation, just also a quick word on some financial aspects. This is your last chance to declare costs and any amendments to your previous financial statements during the final reporting period. So this is something you should be aware about. This will be open in September when we start the final report. And since I get a lot of questions on this, if you have any extra costs, please declare them in your financial statement. Because in the case that there are any remaining funds, they will be distributed to the partners according to their contributions. However, there is no guarantee that they will be refunded, but we still ask you to declare these costs in your financial statement. If your costs have exceeded 325,000 euros, you would have to submit a so-called certificate on the financial statements. This is something your financial departments will know about, so we ask you to just reach out to them so that you're also prepared for this, and please submit them, your financial statements, to us by the 30th of September so that we have plenty of time to check them, go through the numbers, and make sure everything is okay. The other big question, what happens after RadoNorm? And long story short, it's complicated. The funding landscape has changed slightly, so to speak, and we're trying to see what sort of new funding schemes are there. We're trying to explore other Horizon Europe clusters. We think there might be some potential with the new life call in terms of circular economy and recycling. We're trying to also connect our research to other policies of the European Commission, so beating cancer and some of the missions work programs also look interesting, and we also encourage you to check your national resources to see what sort of funds are dedicated to radiation protection, maybe to radon action plans and so on. And we hope that we can also offer some networking opportunities for the RadoNorm Consortium at future Radiation Protection Week conferences, and this we will try to communicate more information on this later on. So, what are we doing in the next 2 days? Our theme for this annual meeting is Sustainable Radiation Protection for Radon and Norm. RadoNorm is coming to an end, but we want the legacy of RadoNorm to continue into the next few decades, and we don't just want our results to disappear into the drawer, as they say, but really to be used by the radiation research community, by various stakeholders, and we want to ensure a sustainable continuation of our results in a way that benefits both people and the environment. And this is why we also, in the presentations that you will see today, we have divided them into three main themes: health and beating cancer, environmental risks, and measures to protect people. And this is what we'll be discussing. So I wish you fruitful discussions. I hope that you will get to learn a lot about what we've been doing in this last year, especially. A quick message to the people online. We ask you to make sure your camera and microphone is turned off while the presentations are going on. And then, not at the end of every presentation, but at the end of every block, there is a Q&A with a panel discussion, and there you may raise your hand or type your question in the chat. Emily and Vladimir are here to make sure that your questions are answered. Exactly, and a quick point of information for the dinner today. Thank you, Balázs and team, for organizing something that we can look forward to very much, a nice dinner cruise on the Danube. The meeting point is the Badkert Bazaar, which is a 25-minute walk from here, and you can scan this QR code. It will take you directly to the Google Maps place, a point of, the point on Google Maps. Please make sure you're there by 7 o'clock, because we would like to leave by 7:15. So I think you will be able to board the ship or the boat from 6:45 to 7, and please make sure you are there on time. Exactly, I would like to give you a few minutes to ask any questions. We also have Suzanne and Melanie online from our financial team, so if you have any budgetary questions, you may also ask them before we then close for a quick coffee break. Otherwise, thank you for your attention.